Stories are your values in action. I want to talk to you a little bit about stories and how you use stories. Do you guys all have stories about your business? Do you know what I mean by a story? Joshi is a story. Zappos has stories. Stories is the way you communicate your values like a parable. I want to tell you a story with a message in it. I don't really describe myself as a speaker. I describe myself as a storyteller. I get up and I tell stories, and those stories have messages. If you don't have stories about your organization, then you're in deep trouble because your people will fill in their own stories. I worked with an organization and they decided that it would be really good to empower employees. How many people here have heard empower your people? Right? So they said, we are going to empower our people. So they said to people, use your best judgment. I still shudder when I hear those words. Use your best judgment. People's judgment sucks. And how do you have the conversation? What's your name?
Liz.
Liz. So I say, Liz, use your best judgment. Then she does something that I think is, oh my God, what is wrong with this woman? Why did she do that? How's that conversation going to go? Liz, I'm concerned about what you did in this situation. And what Liz is going to say is,
it was my best judgment.
It was my best judgment. Where do I go now? Your judgment sucks. It's not a really productive conversation. What you can do is I like to use the term, we create guidelines versus policies. I live in an area where we have big roads, big traffic jams. Envision, you're LA, you're driving down the freeway, there's 4 lanes of traffic. Big guardrails on either side. You can move wherever you want within those 4 lanes, theoretically. But there are guardrails. Those are guidelines. Policies are, you do this. You have no ability to move around. So number one, you've got to create guidelines. And those guidelines need to be informed by stories. Let me give you some examples. Blah, 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 blah. Let me give you an example. Blah, 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 blah. Let me give you an example. Blah, 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 blah. Now, do you think their best judgment would get better? Ooh, I've got a story that I've heard, and now the next time Liz makes a decision, now she's got some parameters, she's got some guidelines, so she's still got flexibility, she's still got that engaged, empowered feeling, she's got some ability to do stuff, but she also has some guidelines that kind of give her some help. And she's got some things to reflect back and say, oh, in that similar situation, this is how they did it. So now her best judgment got a whole lot better. And she's probably not going to make the same kind of drastic maybe change that she might have if I'd given her no guidelines. But now at least when I have a conversation with her, I can refer back to some of the stories we've talked about in the past. How might we do this a little differently next time? It's a completely different conversation. Would you agree?